video game design and how you can apply it to everything you make. 31 years ago, this Italian plumber helped kickstart what phenomenon we know as video games. Over the years, nearly 200 Mario titles have been released into the world, but for some reason, the very first Super Mario Bros. Is one of the few that are actually considered a classic. Why is that? Brilliant game design. Over the past 5 years, I've attended numerous panels, I've done extensive research, and I've even made my own games and worlds and designs, just so I can help understand this topic even more. The goal of this speech isn't to show you how to make a video game, but it's to show you how you can apply it to your own individual life. Game design can be broken up into 3 points: purpose, rules, and control. Purpose is pretty simple. What do you want your game to achieve? Dan Felder, game designer for Fantasy Flight Games, wrote on his blog on Gamasutra that every game has to have a design goal. The design goal, he stated, is very simple. It's the experience you want your player to have when playing their game. The design goal for Super Mario, for example, is you want to make a medium-paced platformer that requires precision and simple decision making. For our speeches, we also had to have a design goal. The design goal for ours was a specific purpose. This is what you want your audience to understand after you're done with your speech. After you determine what that design goal is, make sure everything you do caters to that design goal, or else you won't get the experience you're trying to get. Now that we've figured out what our design goal is, what the purpose of our game is, move on to the rules. Rules are the basis of any game. In the Berkshire Encyclopedia of Human-Computer Interactions, Abdinor El-Ray Levy says that one common element to every game is rules, and they can be broken down into 2 parts: objectives and limitations. Objectives are very simple. This is what you're supposed to do to win. In Mario, you need to jump on enemies, you have to jump across platforms, and ultimately save the Princess Peach. In our speeches, we also have objectives. We have to have an introduction, we have to have a body paragraphs, we have to have a conclusion. The next part is limitations. This is what you're not supposed to do. This is how you lose your game. Our speeches also have limitations. We can't go over 6 minutes. We can't go under 5 minutes. We have to have an outline. While objectives and limitations are different, they oftentimes coincide, so that we have to make sure they get designed together. Now that we've determined what the purpose of our game is and we know the rules of our game, move on to controlling our game. Controls are how you navigate your game. This is how you move around inside of the world you create. In our speeches, our navigation is our delivery, how we give our speech. This is how the audience experiences what you've created. Your controls have to have 2 key elements. They have to be simple, and they have to be intuitive. In Super Mario Brothers, the controls are very, very simple. You have left, you have right, you have jump, and you have run. It's very easy to pick up. You don't get lost in it. Our delivery and our speeches also have to be simple. If they're too extravagant or too complex, people get lost in it, and people become very uninterested. They do not want to continue listening. The next part is being intuitive. In his blog on making games, John Beiser has been a pro game designer for 9 years, writes about control scheming, designing them around a neutral position, which is the default position your hands have on the controller. With Mario, you can see here, this is your control pad. This is where your thumbs are when you put your hands on the controller. Same with your jump and your run buttons. In the same way, our speeches also have to be very intuitive. They have to feel natural and conversational, or else people, again, they're just not going to listen to you. They're not going to want to understand what you're saying. To wrap things up, we learned 3 things. Your game has a purpose. You have to know what you want it to make. Your game also has to have rules. How do you succeed? How do you fail? What are your win conditions? And then they have to have controls. How do you navigate your game? Throughout the speech, I've given you these 3 steps that I just listed on how you can make a game, how you can design a game, but also how they can apply to the speeches you've written. So the next time your professor gives you a project, they give you an assignment, consider these 3 points and try to apply those to your project. It's pretty amazing how simple it is and how easy it is to gather your thoughts when just using these 3 elements. Thank you.